Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. Today's episode is going to be brought to you by Estela.
Me.
Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, hot after Labor Day. Day. Yeah. No more white. They say you can't wear white anymore.
I do whatever I want.
No, you can't. I'm going to judge you.
Do I care?
No. But anyway, so...
do I ever?
No, never. So, as we can tell.
Okay.
And okay.
Okay.
But anyway, so what do you have for us today, sister?
Okay, so for today, we're actually going to... Have you been to Canada?
Yeah, I think so. A while ago.
Yeah. With Jennifer Pan, that she killed her parents. Yes.
Yeah, a while ago. That was like one of the
earlier episodes.
Yeah. We were so dumb. No sabemos lo que estamos haciendo. We're still dumb, but
we still don't. We still are dumb.
And we still don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Pero no, for today's case, we're actually, I think that case was in Toronto.
Yeah.
And
I think so.
We're actually going to a different Canadian province than Ontario. So today we're going to Manitoba.
Never been to Manitoba.
Have you ever heard of Manitoba?
Never heard of Manitoba. Never been, and I don't think I'll ever go.
To be honest.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, I can barely get out of Texas.
Pretty much. We're still trying to work on that. But if you would like to listen to Estela's story from Canada.
What province?
Ontario? No? Okay. Go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's give Barbie a map.
Yes, please. Get her a map.
And let's get started. Okay, so like I just said, the events of today's case happen. Actually, there isn't like a specific town because this happens on the side of the highway.
Oh. So
I'm just going to say some...
It's like in the surrounding areas. Is that what it is?
Of a city?
Or in the area?
I'm just going to talk about, I just found different facts or fun facts or random interesting facts about Manitoba as a whole province, like the todo little section. Okay. So number one is that according to travelmanitoba.com.
Oh, there's a Travel Manitoba.
The character Winnie the Pooh.
Not Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. He was actually named after a black bear named Winnie.
Cute.
Which... Winnie was named after the capital of Manitoba, which is Winnipeg.
No, Winnipeg? That's so cute. How old is Winnie the Pooh? He's old, though.
I have no idea.
That's hardcore shit, like old shit.
Were you ever, no te acuerdas antes, like when you were like younger and in school, get the binder, you could put like pictures in front of it because it had like the clear slip.
Duh.
Y ponías like pictures, like star shots que tomaban tus friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Y I used to put Dragon Ball Z pictures in mine when I was younger. Just print them out in color and shit. I was all excited. Y
oh my God, it comes out in color like a picture.
Super Saiyan 3.
Pinche Goku and shit.
You'd be able to put like your favorite character, your favorite monito character, whatever. And mine was always Eeyore.
Mine was Tigger. And I think the reason...
Piglet.
No, not Piglet. Piglet, to me, I think he was too smart in my opinion. But I feel like Tigger was awesome. He was always jumping up and down. So that was kind of like me. So I felt like I loved Tigger. I remember when it was like Tickle Me Elmo came out. And then at the same time... Tigger, like Bounce Me Tigger came out. Yeah, it was like a life-size Tigger or whatever. Everybody was obsessed with that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember Tickle Me Elmo. I don't remember.
It was like
Jumping Tigger. Yeah,
it was like a Tigger and logo. It would jump on his tail. I don't remember. You don't remember that?
No. When you were having your kids?
No. This was before.
Oh. No, yo no me acuerdo.
Espérame, me voy a fijar. Espérame.
Okay, so while Barbie looks that up.
Because it's so important.
The number two fact is that Manitoba is actually home to Little Limestone Lake, which is the largest and finest.
Yeah, it's called Jumping Tigger.
Yeah. But I just thought it was going to look different for some reason.
No, it would jump on, like,
the
older one, the one that's like from 1998. It was, it's on eBay and it jumps on, like, it goes up and down.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looks like it's taking a dump.
Well, I mean, But he was jumping on his tail.
Yeah, I see.
Fucking hater,
I
dude.
get it.
She never gets it.
But anyways, like I was saying, Manitoba is home to Little Limestone Lake, which is the largest and finest marl lake in the world. It actually means that it changes color depending on the temperature.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it'll go from like blue, like turquoise blue to like just dark, and you could see like the split of the color.
That's
like
crazy.
I saw a video of it. It was actually really cool.
Are we going there?
Sure, add it to the list.
Yeah.
Did you see the list? It's a manifesto by now. So luego, apart from that,
number spell 3. Book and shit.
Number 3 is that Manitoba, Churchill, Manitoba.
Okay.
Which is like a town like real far north. And it's known as the polar bear capital of the world.
El oso polar.
Sí, un blanco. ¿Te acuerdas de Coca-Cola commercials?
Sí.
And it's actually...
la coca bien padre.
Mm-hmm. And then actually about 1,000 of them migrate there from July to November to wait for winter.
Well, duh, because it must be cold up there. Huh?
Yeah, not here.
Oh, I want to go there.
Yeah, it's super cold. Y luego... But,
I might be an oso polar.
Last but not least...
There's more.
We just said that Winnipeg is the capital of Manitoba. So it is actually known as the Slurpee capital of the world.
Stop it. Like from
7-Eleven.
Like from
They drink more Slurpees each year than any city in the whole world.
The fuck?
And have done it for 22 years in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and I don't know if you noticed, there's like a shit ton of 7-Elevens that they're opening up like all over Houston.
Yeah, I just noticed there's one down the street from my dad's house.
And there's 3.
There's like a lot.
When I go to work, like lo están haciendo en cada cuadra. I'm like, bro.
Also like, don't they also have like a Taco Laredo in there or something like that?
I think
like
that's Stripes.
Oh, my bad. I thought they had a taco place too at the same 7-Eleven. But I mean.
But when I go into 7-Eleven, or at least here in America, because my birthday's on 7-Eleven, I can get free Slurpees on my birthday. But if I go to a different country, you know how they do day, month, and year, not month.
Yes.
Day and year. So it wouldn't work anywhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I think my sister told me that she had one like not too long ago and it was amazing. I'm more into like the Taco Bell. I'm more a Taco Bell blast kind of gal. Those things are fucking bomb. They're addicting.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. I can't believe that.
Now you know that they have a shit ton. They drink a lot of Slurpees in Winnipeg.
You're telling me that maybe the polar bears drink the Slurpees as well?
I don't know.
Because they drink coca.
Anyways, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here.
Nothing to do with anything, but ¿y luego? Cuenta, manita.
So like my last case, for sure I have to give a trigger warning because what happens is it's really sad, but it's really brutal, and there's no way to go around what happened. You know, like it's not like I can't say I'm not going to go into detail because, you know,
that's the case.
And it's what happens, you know.
And sometimes that happens to us. Like I tried my best to say, well, they took out their eyes, but not like, you know, you're trying not to say it so like brutal, like you don't care, but that's exactly what they did.
What happened.
Yeah, but I understand.
So también we talk about mental illness. So again, you know, if you can listen to any of this stuff,
we totally have another 70 cases that you can listen to. We're up to 70 or 71.
71 con este.
Yeah. So 70 cases.
Yes. You can listen. Yes. So we'll begin with Tim McLean. Timothy Richard McLean Jr. was born on October 3rd of 1985 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, to parents Carol Dedeli and Tim McLean. I think that's how you say her last name because it's D-E and then that's its own. And then Deli, capital D-E-L-L-E-Y.
Oh, not like deli, like deli from H-E-B.
No.
Oh, okay.
And then his dad was Tim McLean Sr., so él era junior. And then he grew up in a very small farming community. Se llamaba Eli. Y en un punto, I don't know when, his parents separated.
Uh-huh.
Y él se quedó a vivir con su mamá and he grew up with his siblings. And su papá ended up moving to Winnipeg and he eventually remarried. Y también his mom eventually remarried.
Tim, did it say how old he was?
¿Quién?
Cuando se divorciaron no dice...
No.
Okay.
No decía. Okay. So Tim was described as someone who, like, he had, like, a lot of energy.
ADD vibes, ADHD vibes.
Very restless. He was very active. No se podía estar sentado. cuando estaban jugando, you know, it's a small farming community. All you can do is fucking play outside, especially in the fucking 80s and 90s, right? So when they would play with his friends, decían que you know how sometimes you get tired, te quieres sentar a tomar agua, like all the kids are on this fucking grass tomando agua or whatever. He was like, no, Tim could keep going, and he would.
Solo your favorite nephew vibes?
Yeah.
Not this one. Que lo cansa este?
Yeah.
He's like, sit down, I'm tired of you.
No,
and the other one is like, no, let's play.
He's Tigger. Oh yeah,
he's
like
Tigger.
jumping.
And my son is like, can we sit down now? I'm tired.
Yeah. And then according to a lifelong friend of Tim, se llamaba Tiffany LaBelle. Decía que...
I like that,
LaBelle. He decía que Tim was not shy. Like, nada que ver. He loved meeting new people.
I'm really shy, so I don't know.
He loved that interaction of meeting somebody new. And his little brother, se llama Kendall. He later goes on to say that, quote...
His brother's name is Kendall?
Yes.
Okay.
He was extremely charismatic and often demanded the attention of a room with his presence and strong magnetic personality. Y también Kendall, I mean, obviously we know that Tim, this case about him, he ends up dying or being murdered. También Kendall lo vuelve a decir que the last time that he saw Tim was probably like a month before he actually ended up being killed. Y que lo acompañó a su prom de Kendall. Yeah. Y que he was like, he pushed me.
¿Estaba mucho más grande que él o eran casi
He was
de la
22. Tim was 22 and Kendall was,
18?
17, 18, por ahí.
Oh, no, it's still a good age. I mean, todo te puedes juntar, you know?
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
Like, That is so sweet.
He was like, he convinced me to just have a good time. He was like, he convinced me to just get drunk and party. He was like, and we were like the only ones just like dancing drunkenly on the floor, having a good time. He's like, no había nadie, but they were just having like a ball. And he said that Tim le dijo que he really wanted Kendall to finish high school and that if not, he was going to kick his ass.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's just the kind of guy that he was, you know. También que, you know, aside from loving to meet new people, he was very accepting of everybody. He would never single somebody out. He was very inviting and very easy to talk to. And he could fucking make friends with the fucking toilet paper. And he never judged anybody and everybody loved him. They said that Tim had friends. He never met a stranger, you know,
awesome.
like,
yeah.
And at some point, I want to say in his late teens, he ended up working with his friend Tiffany. So Tiffany le agarró un trabajo. She was working at it was called the Red River Exhibition in Winnipeg. So it's like an annual carnival que lo tenían cada verano. And he loved it. He got to meet new people every night. No estaba sentado at a desk, you know, which was actually one of the reasons why he never lasted long at other places. And doing this...
Because he couldn't say, like, no se puede estar tranquilo, o sea, quiere estarse moviendo. Okay.
Yeah. The carnival was perfect for Tim.
It was perfect.
And that's what he did. He worked at different carnivals in different towns with his friends, and he'd make money. He spent it. Like sometimes decían que he didn't even know where his next meal was going to come from. Like he wasn't worried.
Like he was like free. Yeah.
He was like he just went with the flow wherever
he's
the
like,
wind.
Voy a comer como quiera. So.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And
I wish I could be like that.
Yeah,
not worry. Whoa.
And then you just like he'd move on to the next town, find work, make money, and you know
he'd move on. That's awesome.
Yeah, y así se pasaba con sus amigos, just traveling, you know. And también Kendall, again, he called him a modern day nomad. He didn't own a lot of things. He just liked music. Like he was always carrying like his headphones. He was like the stuff that he didn't want anymore, he'd give it away. And, you know, just necessities.
Kind of almost like not a hickey.
A hippie?
A hippie.
But like, ¿cómo se dice? Modern day.
Modern day hippie. Yeah. Que nada más andaba going with the wind.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
So at the age of 22, Tim finally decided to kind of like set roots down somewhere. He actually, for some reason, I'm not sure if it was a carnival, but he ended up in British Columbia and he loved it there. And
how far is British Columbia from Winnipeg?
British Columbia está arriba de Washington, Seattle. And then I think Manitoba is over here by like next to Ontario. So I'm assuming encima por like Ohio, Michigan. Ahí like un poquito más en medio.
Más en medio.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think if I'm not,
don't come for us. We don't know. And as we know from the beginning of the episode, I need a map. So
I was trying to make it work for her. Yeah. I was trying to give her a visual.
Yes.
So he fell in love with British Columbia. He's like, I want to move here. I want to live here. Like, he actually wanted to live somewhere. That's where his mind was in 2008. So this was in 2008. He was 22. He was like, okay, cool. I'm going to move here. I'm going to grab my whatever I have, whatever I own, and move here.
Las tres garras que tiene. Right?
Yeah. And that summer, he was working at a carnival called the Klondike Exhibition.
Oh, Klondike, like the Klondike bar?
Yeah.
Cool.
In Edmonton, Alberta. So Alberta's another, it's going to be between, I think Alberta is next to British Columbia. And the next stop, I know you're going to laugh or you're going to make a comment. So like I said,
you don't know my life.
Bitch, watch. He was, like I just said, he was working in Edmonton, Alberta. Mm-hmm. And then the next stop for the carnival was in Regina.
That's not funny.
Why do you want to laugh?
I don't want to laugh. I'm just, that's a great name for a place. Digo, yeah. That's where I want to live, in Regina.
And so from Edmonton to...
Ya ves? You didn't know my life.
I see. I saw your face. If I wouldn't have given you a heads up, you would have said something.
Yeah, I would have been like, Regina.
Yeah. So from Edmonton to Regina, it was going to be over 7 hours.
Is this like a real thing? To llama Regina?
Yes.
What they named this shit after?
No way.
I'm trying to figure this out because I've seen a few things but heard.
Why can you, I think it's you can pronunciation. Why it's not Regina? Why Regina?
Oh, is it spelled like Regina? It's smelled. Fuck. Is it spelled like Regina?
How do you spell Regina?
Regina.
Yeah.
So it's spelled like that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But they call it Regina.
Pues es Regina. Okay.
That's what I heard.
Because I would be like, yeah, I live over there in Regina. I mean, Regina, knowing me.
So, like I said, Tim, the next stop was there. So, Tim, instead of making his way to Regina with the carnival, he was like, no, I'm going to go home. Me voy pa mi casa. I'm going to go back home and make arrangements to move to British Columbia.
Let's take a quick break. Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! Taser! She's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired.
Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
But lo quería hacer bien. Like, he wanted to leave everything.
He was like, I'm ready. I'm ready to do it right now.
Like, he wanted to settle down.
Yes.
Okay.
And from where he was at that moment in Edmonton to Winnipeg, it was over 800 miles.
Holy shit, that's far.
Yeah. So sus amigos, they were like, hey, we'll pay for your flight. And then he said that he was just going to take the bus. And that's how they used to travel like around. He was used to, or him and his friends were used to riding the Greyhound. He was like, that's just what we knew. He was like, it was fine. He was like, I'll just take the bus. And sadly, that would be his last ride. And he would never make it home.
On the Greyhound.
On the Greyhound bus. On July 30th, just after midnight, so right after 12 a.m., Tim boarded Greyhound bus 1170 to Winnipeg, which would take, I think, almost 24 hours. Because paran en otras ciudades, you pick up people. I know. Or, probably.
Well, I mean, you know how people make it to Mexico and they go, it's 24 hours, 27 hours, whatever. Yeah. But still, that's a long time. I would imagine, I don't know why, if you're, I guess because we're so used to just going to Mexico, y te tardas un chingo en el bus, pero nunca 28 hours, 2060, he said 24?
About 24 hours, yeah.
That's crazy. ¿Y luego?
When Tim got on the bus, it was along with other 30-something passengers. And he sat towards the end of the bus and then took a window seat and, began the long journey to Winnipeg. So later that same day, pero la mera tarde, around closer towards 7 p.m., they made a stop in a town called Erickson. He was there already in Manitoba. I think it was like less than 200 miles to make it to Winnipeg already, when they made this stop. And in Erickson, there a 40-year-old man named Vincent Lee boarded the bus. And this man would forever change the lives of not just him, but everybody on that bus.
Damn, pues ¿qué hizo?
So we're going to talk about Vince Lee real quick. And a lot of the information that I got for Vince, like his background and stuff, I found it actually in a book. It's called Shrunk, and it's Crime and Disorders of the Mind, True Cases by Forensic Psychologists and Psychiatrists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they talk about in the book about different cases.
Oh, I thought it was just about him. Okay.
And they have like a section about an actual doctor that ended up seeing Vince Lee after the events of today's case. So that's how. It's really interesting. You're like, it's crazy. No pun intended.
Oh, damn.
So Vince Lee and his wife actually made their way to Canada in 2001 from China and settled in Winnipeg. And it says that originally they wanted to settle in Toronto, but the cost of living there is like really high. So they were like, oh, let's do Winnipeg. So they settled in Winnipeg. And he was actually very well educated, and he had graduated in 1992 with a 4-year degree in applied electronics and computer engineering from the University of Wuhan Institute of Technology.
Damn.
So
he could probably figure out these mics.
Yep. When he was still in China, he found a job in his field, y toda la cosa. And he actually found a job designing and building computer hardware at a factory. And it was while he was working there que conoció a su esposa. I don't know her name. There's some sources that had a name, but nobody knows if that's really her name. And I think she used to work in the factory line, in the assembly factory line. So luego se casaron in 1995. He continued to work in his field, but I'm not sure what the situation was in China. Him and his wife were already discussing moving to Canada to have a better life.
Oh, wow. I think a lot of people do move to Canada instead of coming here.
Mm-hmm.
I would too.
Same.
Shit.
I want to go to Canada all the time.
All the time.
I want to go to other places all the time.
I want to go anywhere else.
But I want to move to Canada all the time.
All the time, yeah.
So he was very well educated, as we can tell. But cuando llegaron a Canada, it was very hard for him to actually find a job in his field. That was actually up to par with his degree, which is actually very common for people that migrate from other countries, especially because of the language barrier and stuff like that.
I mean, I know like there's doctors here that are from doctors in their country and they can't be a doctor here.
Right.
So then they end up working somewhere else and they're like, well, in my country, I'm all of this, but here I cannot because like you said, the language barrier,
maybe
like all of the como que tienes que tomar exámenes.
Yeah, the schooling and stuff.
¿Cómo se le llama como
the boards?
The certificates and the boards and all of that. So I can just imagine what he was going through.
Yeah.
But you think in your mind when you're going to school there, like for example, if I was to go to school here and then go to another country, yo estoy diciendo, okay, this is it. This is what I want to do. And then I move and then they're like, oh, it doesn't matter.
This doesn't work here. It doesn't
matter here.
Yeah.
You know, that would suck.
Like that doesn't carry any weight.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Porque tú en tu mente estás haciendo lo mejor posible so that you can, be a better person in your country, but you never thought, oh, okay, this is
not going to work somewhere else.
Right. And it sounds sad, but it's so true. It happens all the time.
Yeah. And he would actually just work very low paying jobs for the rest of the time that he was in Canada. I don't know what the fuck he's doing now. Pero yeah. His first job was actually at a McDonald's in the kitchen. He couldn't even take orders because, again, of the language barrier. Y su esposa, she worked as a waitress. But both of them, they were trying, at least. Both of them would take English classes para aprender bien el inglés. After he actually worked at McDonald's for 1.5 years. And then he quit to pursue more education in Canada. So he hoped that with a computer programming diploma, which he actually completed in 2002, he'd be able to find a better job. But he didn't.
I mean, he was trying. Yeah, he was trying. Yeah.
And like I just said, he literally could only find like manual labor jobs. So somebody told him that if he joined a church, lo podían ayudar a comprarse un carro.
Sounds like something your mom would say.
So
dijeron allá en la esquina, like that kind of shit.
Yeah, la señora que me encontré en el garaje.
La que me encontré en la lavandería que estaba lavando la ropa ahí me dijo que si hago esto, I'm like, why?
And then she'd be like, es que cuando allá en los años, allá la señora una vez me dijo eso, and I'm like, Mom, that was like
35 years ago, and you're just now thinking about it. Yeah.
So they joined a church, him and his wife. They joined a Christian church.
Oh, good.
And they actually ended up with the hopes que le compraran un carro, le ayudaran a comprar un carro, pero obviously that wasn't the case. But they actually joined the church and they actually found jobs there. So they both started working at the church and eventually ended up getting baptized in.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. They like that journey.
Yeah. At some point, him and his wife's relationship was kind of getting a little bit rocky. There was a period where he decided to move to Thompson, Canada. And it was north of Winnipeg, El Sol. His wife,
I'm leaving you.
His wife didn't want to go. And he stayed there for 4 months, Barb. And he worked at a Walmart stocking shelves. And it was then, I think around that time that Vince started, he was hearing voices, right?
What were the voices saying?
He was hearing a voice coming from the sun.
Oh, okay.
Telling him that he was the son of God. And the quote Chinese Jesus. And then he'd go outside and stare at the sun and wait for instructions on what to do next.
What did that hurt his eyes?
One of the instructions, remember he was in Thompson, but one of the instructions that he heard was for him to go to Toronto.
Uh-huh.
Because Vince knew that one of his childhood friends from back home from China had moved to Toronto. And this voice that was coming from the sun, he was like, oh, it's time for you to go reconnect with that friend.
I'm not saying that it's crazy, but it sounds a little out there.
So he went to Toronto. Se gastó todo su dinero y se fue para Toronto. And then
le dijo la voz del sur.
He got there, he couldn't find the friend.
I wonder why.
Se había gastado todo el dinero. Bitch, Toronto's not this little bitch. Toronto's, if you can't see, but I have my arms out.
No,
wide.
she's acting like it's from, like, she has really small arms. So she's acting as like de un brazo al otro, but it's not that small. Toronto's big.
So he was like, okay, the voice told him to go back home. He had no money. He had spent it all trying to get to Toronto. And he had no way to go home. So this voice coming from the sun told him to go to the airport, and there people were going to help him.
The sun told him this.
Yes.
El sol.
The voice coming from the sun.
Okay, pero ¿quién estaba hablando del sol?
A voice.
Like a person or
just a voice coming from the sun?
Like Jesus? Oh.
The baby from Teletubbies?
Oh, it could have been the baby from Teletubbies. So this voice le dijo que to go back.
Yeah. You go to the airport because they were going to help him there. And he was asking for money at the airport, but nobody helped him. So then the voice le dijo, oh, it's fine, walk. You can walk.
I don't know how I feel about this. Stella.
Toronto from Winnipeg is 1,200 miles.
He walked?
He started.
The sun told him to walk?
And he was doing
Not the sun como el hey sun. No, like sun S-U-N, like el sol.
Yeah, que brilla en el cielo.
Like
the center of the galaxy.
Like the star that's... Okay.
Center of a galaxy.
Okay. Now you're...
No, of our solar system.
Of our solar system.
Yeah, sorry.
So you got me here. You need a...
So he walked for 2 hours.
Wow.
And then he was like on the side of the highway. And then he was picked up by an ambulance. And
¿Se tiró?
No, they saw him walking and be like, hey, somebody's walking on the side of the freeway. Come get him.
Okay.
Because they know that's not normal behavior. I know sometimes I'd be seeing people walk on the side of the freeway, but they look like they're backpacking and stuff. I don't think he had any belongings.
Yeah, they were probably like, there's this crazy guy out here, you know?
Yeah.
Pobrecito, él pensaba que el sol estaba hablando, amiga.
So he was picked up by an ambulance, and then he was hospitalized for 10 days.
Damn, what the fuck?
From September 3rd, 2005.
Well, why would they have him out? I'm confused. Why did they have him hospitalized?
Psychological evaluation, because it's
not... No, I thought he really was talking to his son.
He thought he was. That's the thing. He was hearing it.
Uh-huh.
So he was there from September 3rd to September 13th. And the hospital noted that, quote, he seemed to be hallucinating, staring into space, and he was asking the staff not to hurt him. And he had actually not slept or eaten for like 3 days.
Wow. I can't even go now without you. Imagine 3 days.
I feel so bad for people that don't sleep. Like, I would die.
Yeah, I have to sleep. Like yesterday, I slept all day.
Like I had a shitty sleep last night, but that was my own fucking fault.
No.
But
and then priority in my life is sleep.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Like I never have, like I can go to bed. Like that's never been a problem with me, but I don't know how people do it. They can't sleep.
And then get up.
And then go to bed.
And then go to sleep. Yeah. Like I can nap before I go to bed.
Yeah. It's the best. Yeah. I can't nap, but Barbie naps hard.
I nap hardcore. I'm a hardcore napper.
So that was in 2005. The hospital that he was at. For 10 days, they diagnosed him with schizophrenia catatonic state.
Okay, because he was listening to, like, he would hear shit. Okay.
Yes, and then he was treated with different medication throughout the 10-day period that he was there. And then he was discharged and didn't take any medications and didn't have any contacts for any mental health help after he was released. His wife, he ended up making it back home. I don't know how he got there, but she never found out that he had been she knew he had been hospitalized, but she didn't know for what. She just thought that he had gotten like
sick, like he wasn't feeling well.
Like he had gotten into it with the cops and they just hospitalized him or something. Okay. She never figured out that it was because he mental health illness. Their marriage had already been falling apart since before he had moved to Thompson. He had been spending all of their money. Se lo gastaba de por si no tenían los pobres. And he wasn't consulting her with anything. And then he was just doing whatever he wanted. Like he fucking left. Fucking moved to Thompson.
Fuck.
So he
on his own? Just bye. Porque le dijo el sol?
When he returned, she decided to go back to China and initiate a divorce.
Nah, lo dejó.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
well, at least he didn't have any kids.
Yeah. And for the next 3 years, he continued not to take any medication, and he continued to experience auditory hallucinations.
Just talk to the sun.
And taking instructions from the voice coming from the sun. Mm-hmm. Now, he had moved to Edmonton and was working delivering newspapers right before the events of today's case. On July 28th, 2008, he packed his bags and he was headed to Winnipeg. And this was instruction from
the sun.
Yeah.
Once again, it's not the sun como su hijo, it's the sun como the star in the universe.
Yes. So before he got on that bus, he bought a knife to protect himself from the evil forces on his journey.
Oh, Jesus, not the knife.
So he was supposed to go from Edmonton to Winnipeg, directo, which is actually, if you remember from earlier, was the exact same bus route that Tim was going to take. The carnival had been in Edmonton, and he was going to go back to Winnipeg to make arrangements to move to BC. So he got on the bus from Edmonton to Winnipeg, Vince, on July 28th, so 2 days before. So on July 29th, he got off the bus in a town called Erickson with his 3 pieces of luggage and his laptop.
And his knife.
And his knife, yes. According to witnesses' reports, he spent that night on a bench and that he was just staring into space. And the next day, on the 30th, while still on that bench, he put a note on his laptop que la andaba vendiendo por $600. And there was this kid that had worked, I think, across the street. You know how in other places, like they have people working to pump your gas or to clean your car or whatever. There was this 15-year-old kid that saw him. Y como que, like, he was staring at it. So Vince le dijo si la quería comprar, or le dijo que quería $600 por ella. And he was like, oh, I don't have that kind of money. Y que le dijo, I don't know if Vince asked him, well, how much do you got? Pero el muchacho dijo, he was like, only have $60. And Vince was like, okay. Le vendió la computer. Y que también el muchacho dijo que he was like, que quería dinero for the bag of the laptop. And then he was like, no, I just want the laptop.
So he couldn't afford it.
Yeah. So then vendió su laptop and he got on the bus from Erickson to Winnipeg.
The same bus that
Tim was on.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
We're on the same page.
Now we're on the same page. He got on the bus to Winnipeg, which was Greyhound bus 1170. And the bus at that time was about 130 miles from Winnipeg. And they had been traveling up to that point for about 18 hours already.
So ya van a llegar casi, güey.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, Tim was already on this bus. He was sitting towards the back on the second to last row. So Vince got on and he sat near the front of the bus. Así bien quedito y todo. Quiet, whatever. At around 8 p.m.
Kind of like a good boy, you know?
Yeah. At around 8 p.m., the bus made a stop. Some reports say that Vince got off and he was smoking a cigarette con another passenger on the bus or whatever. They got back on the bus and then he decided to change seats. He started walking down the aisle of the bus and then sat next to Tim. Later, Vince told Dr. Yaren, which is one of his psychiatrists, that he sat next to Tim because as he was walking down the aisle, Tim gave him like a friendly acknowledgement, like a nod or like smiled at him or something.
He smiled at everybody.
That's what I'm saying. So por eso se sentó al lado de él. And after Vince sat down next to him, bitch, tired, he put on his headphones and he leaned his head on the window and he se durmió. Stephen Allison, he was actually sitting across the aisle from Vince and Tim. And actually later goes on to say that Vince began acting really odd. He said que Vince tenía like a roll of toilet paper and a 2-liter bottle of like Clonesti, and que nomás los tenía agarrados and he wouldn't let them go. Y dice que anytime that he was going to drink from the 2-liter bottle, se ponía el rollo de papel, toilet paper under his neck, and then he would drink from the 2-liter bottle.
That makes no fucking sense.
También dice que after, like, pasaba el tiempo poquito, and then that he was kind of rocking back and forth, Vince, and that he was chanting something. It was in English, so I don't know if it was in Chinese or something, pero que no se le entendía. So at this point, like I said, they had been traveling for 18 hours. Ya era de noche. The lights
were out of it. They were tired, you know.
The lights were off in the bus. Tenían una tele. They were playing like a movie. And that was the only light coming, you know, estaba prendida. And people were either fucking falling asleep or watching the movie that was playing on the screens. Now, Vince Lee tenía sus lentes puestos. Not like seeing glasses, pero like sunglasses.
Inside the
bus.
The bus, okay.
Yes.
And it was late at night.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Okay.
You know when they say that if you go to a club with your, like an asshole, like you're an asshole, why are you inside a club with your sunglasses on, douche?
No puede ser que te dé una... I mean, the light might be too bright.
Yeah.
You never know.
Vince Lee, with his sunglasses on, he grabbed his knife, turned to his right, and started stabbing Tim McLean.
What the fuck?
Steven, the guy that was sitting across the aisle, sees this. And then he said that he already felt like something bad was going to happen. And he said that he thought that he's like, I thought he was, because he saw me see him taking out. He's like, I thought he was going to come at me. So Steven sees this and he just like books it down the aisle of the bus.
So he just started stabbing him for no reason, bitch?
And he like tells like, pull over.
Hold on. Go back a little bit about this. So you're telling me that just out of nowhere, he just started stabbing him?
Yes.
Because he changes his seat, se sienta al lado de Timothy y lo empieza a apuñalar por nada.
Yes.
This makes no sense.
Because I don't think it's supposed to. And I think that's the scariest part.
Yeah, that is creepy. Because, I mean, you can't just...
That's not just creepy. That's
fucking
horrible.
scary. Creepy, scary, like horrible, all of the above. Damn, dude.
Steven, he's like, yeah, pull the bus over.
He goes to get help, yeah. Okay.
Obviously, you're hearing the commotion because Tim obviously, like, says, like, he's screaming también.
Yeah.
And people just rush to get out of the bus. Like, the bus driver pulls over to the side of the... Everybody starts running. Yeah. And according to Steven, as Tim's como que, obviously he was trying to defend himself. So he tried to like jump, you know, because he was leaning on the window. So Tim tried to jump over Vince. Or
maybe like over the, like, I imagine como en el seat.
Yeah, to kind of get on the aisle to say maybe he could run. But he landed on the aisle and Vince was just like on him. He was like a machine. And Steven, he goes on to say he probably stabbed him like 60, 70 times. And obviously the bus, like I just said, had stopped. It had pulled over to the side of the road.
Nighttime, right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And people had exited the bus. They were like on the side of the bus. And actually the driver...
But how do you know he's not going to come after everybody else,
right.
You know?
That's why everybody hauled ass.
Damn.
And actually the driver and 2 other passengers stayed behind to try and help him. Pero when they tried to get close, Vince was kind of like making like slashing motions in their direction.
Like they were going to get stabbed too.
Yeah, and then they were like, what were we supposed to do? So they got off the bus. And then they were saying that it kind of looked like Tim wasn't, ya no estaba vivo.
Oh, ya lo había matado.
Yeah, hopefully. Because wait, it gets worse.
Oh shit, it gets worse than that?
It's sick. It's really bad. So there was a driver, I guess he was in his truck. His name is Chris Alwire, and he was actually flagged down by...
Everybody standing outside.
Yeah,
like, hey,
and somebody flagged him down.
Okay.
It was a woman passenger, and she told them that somebody on the bus was being stabbed. And Chris, bitch, like fucking badass. He like pulled over.
Is he the bad bitch of the story?
He should. I mean, there's people that wouldn't stop. Honestly, especially nowadays, dude. He got out. He pulled over. He had like a crowbar. He had like hammer in his car. He was like, "Let's go."
To help, like
to
nothing.
help.
That guy is awesome.
And también otra vez with the driver and another passenger, they tried to confront Vince. Pero they say that when they got on the bus, que like he just looked over at them. He's like his face looked expressionless. Tenía los ojos vacant. And then were there...
Like he was in a trance or something?
Maybe, yeah. Okay. Then he looked at them, and then he looked at Tim, and then he began to decapitate him.
What? So, rewind. Hold up. So, at this point, he's trying to stab at the people that are kind of trying to help.
And they got out.
Right. So, everybody gets out.
And then they stop the truck.
The truck comes in. They go back. Chris comes in and is like, come on, let's go. Gets all his, materials or whatever that he has in his truck. And then he goes in there. He looks up at them because they're like obviously hollering at him, like, stop, what are you doing? And then he starts like cutting his head off. Yeah,
he has like no expression in his face and shit. And then he starts decapitating Tim.
Fuck?
And then he began making his way down the aisle, Vince, towards Chris and the other people that were trying to help.
Toda la cabeza?
So he was holding the knife in one hand and Tim's head on the other.
Shut the fuck up.
And they all decided to exit the bus.
I would have exited the fucking bus, locked the door, and leave his ass.
And then that's what they tried to do. They were like, we don't know what the fuck he was going to do. Was he going to come after all the people that were outside? The bus driver, he said they tried to like...
this is not a fucking movie?
Girl, I don't even think a movie could be this bad.
What the fuck?
And then they tried to close the door on him. And I think the door was going to close. Y le alcanzó a meter la mano. And he was like slashing through the door.
This is fucking Michael Myers shit, bitch.
Y se abrió la puerta. And then they ran. And I think they managed to close the door again. But he could open it. He was inside. I'm sure he could open it from the inside. But
but if he's out of it, I'm pretty sure he didn't know how to open the fucking door, right?
Yeah. But he never exited the bus. People could see, obviously, on the outside what was happening inside the bus. And people could see that he had Tim's head.
I'm in shock.
And they were
in the words of my passengers, I'm in shock.
They were saying that, some of the passengers, people were fainting, people were screaming, people were crying, people were throwing up.
I mean, I'm not trying to, let's rewind a little bit. Whenever you're on the bus, I've been on the bus before for a long period of time, you start talking to your neighbors. Knowing how Tim was, knowing that he wasn't afraid to talk to people, he might have even been talking to his neighbor next to him or the girl behind him or, hey, where are you going or whatever. So these people kind of felt for 18 hours that they knew who this person was. Not that they were besties or anything.
No, but haces conversación.
Haces conversación, o sea, porque you're kind of like trying to...
Be like, oh,
don't be awkward,
add me on MySpace.
Yeah, or whatever, listen to my podcast, whatever. But what I'm saying is, I cannot believe that, yes, of course they fainted, Estela, because they were probably like, this is the person that
there was little kids on that bus.
There was, yeah.
And then that the older kids, he goes on to say that the older teenager kids, people were trying to record with their phones, back then, and now I'm sure that would happen anyways. By the time the police obviously was contacted, right? The Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
The Royal Canadian... Wait, you can't just say that and get past it. The Royal...
RMCP.
Okay.
Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
At this point, you told me that they were on the road, right? So
on the side.
Is there anything are they by a town or nothing? They're just in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, I don't know if they were in the middle of nowhere, to be honest.
Imagine trying to call the police and tell them where you're at?
Yeah. But the police arrive, and for whatever reason, until this day, dude, they get shitted on. They made no attempt to board the bus and stop Vince from doing what he would do next.
Wait, there's more?
So armed with his knife and a pair of scissors.
Where did he get the scissors from?
He had them.
Oh, okay.
Vince cut open Tim's chest.
Why?
And tore out the organs. Tore out his organs, which included his heart, lungs, liver, and intestines.
This has to be a fucking movie.
And then he strung them up on the bus. He went on to eat Tim's eyes and a part of his heart.
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
He cut off his nose and ears. And
so he's just chilling there. I can just imagine. He's just chilling there, sitting down in one of the, just fucking butchering this poor guy, and eating parts of his body.
And then that's what Chris, the driver, goes on to say, because I think Canada has you can't kill. You have to kind of bring him back alive, I guess. But Chris was saying, the driver, he's like, dude, they didn't do anything. They didn't bring no, not pepper spray, but tear gas. You could have thrown it on the bus. Like,
they don't have guns over there?
Yes.
So then why didn't they shoot him in the gun?
I don't know.
I mean, they weren't going to kill anybody. Nobody was there. Wow. This is fucking amazing. Not amazing in a good way. Amazing, like, unbelievable.
You can believe it.
Yeah.
And then they were saying that he was kind of like, I don't know, but he was, I won't say putting on like a show because he was licking his blood off his fingers y toda la cosa. And then he like had stored pieces of Tim's. And he had like plastic bags that he had put them in and everything.
He brought plastic, like fucking Ziploc bags with them, or what the fuck?
Now, they waited Vince out on the bus for 4 hours.
So you're telling me that they didn't even try to make him stop doing this madness shit that
they tried to like reason with him, but like...
What are you going to reason with him? He's eating somebody's fucking eyes.
He's not okay.
Like, este cree que está comiendo carnitas. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my God. Obviously, something is not okay with this dude.
Like I said, they try to get him off the bus.
I get the niceness
like voluntarily.
of the police in Canada. I get that. Shoot his ass.
But I saw like, obviously there were other police there. I think there were SWAT people there too. But other people that were part of SWAT, but that were not at that scene, también later critiqued on how the situation was handled and like how they didn't try to do anything. I don't know. It was fucked.
I mean, it's not like they were going to save Tim, but the least they could have done is...
Dude, like, stop him from doing everything else to his fucking remains.
Yeah, and can we give Tim's family a body so that they can bury him at least? Like, what the fuck?
At 1:30 in the morning.
So this went on for 4 hours,
right.
Estela.
Right.
This wasn't like a little 10-minute thing.
Half hour.
Or
la hora lo más, right?
Más. This is 4 fucking hours of these people sitting there watching this man eat this person.
Yeah.
Like, this is unbelievable.
And at some point, I can't remember if it was before the police got there, but I think it might have been before. Like, he tried to turn on the bus himself.
Ya se iba, la verga.
Pero I think the bus driver had made it so he couldn't, from the outside or something, le hizo algo al bus, pero no pudo. So, like, around 1:30, Vince, he tried to make a run for it. And, like,
did he realize what he was doing after fucking 4 hours?
And he tried to like break a window from the back of the bus or something, and he tried to escape out the window.
And why?
And then he was caught right there.
His ass.
He was like tased or whatever, but he was out of the bus because he tried to make a run for it. But they never went into the bus. Oh, wow. They did find Tim's tongue, ears, and nose in Vince's pockets, and the rest of Tim.
I just can't believe it. Like, let me put this shit. Let me save this shit for later. Like, this is not okay. This is not okay.
After this, obviously, Vince was taken to the hospital because obviously when he was stabbing Tim, he got injured himself.
They gave him aid.
Yeah. These passengers, they were actually, I think they were taken to a department store and then they were put up at a hotel because everything that they had with them on the bus was now evidence. They couldn't touch anything, right? So they didn't have anything.
Not only
and they
that,
were taking their evidence. They were checking their statements and everything.
At 18 hours from where you told me that they were supposed to get there at around 24, there's still times away from where their destination was.
There was this, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but he was interviewed and you could tell, dude, he was fucking like out of it. This was the night I think they were at the hotel. And he was being interviewed by like a news person. And obviously he was in shock. You could tell the way he was describing everything that happened, but he was like, no, I'm probably still in shock. You know what this fucking news person asked him?
What?
Is this the first time you've seen something like this?
Nah, dude. I'd be seeing that every day.
Like, are you dumb?
Fuck? What kind of question is that?
Exactly. I was like, did you really just ask that?
And I have the utmost respect for Canadians, but right now it's looking kind of shady because
it's on shaky ground.
It's on shaky ground right now because you done pissed me off. Because how in the fuck are you gonna let this guy do this to this innocent person? Put his tongue in his fucking pocket, bro. His eyes, like he was a fucking carnitas and shit. What the hell's wrong with you? And then not do nothing about kill him at least. I would have at least tried to kill him. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you would have.
I'm sorry.
And then Vince later he goes on to say they should have killed me when I was on the bus.
I mean, if you yourself knows that you should know, how do you say that? If you yourself know that you should have been killed, then what were they waiting for? Like, I don't get it.
Now, the passengers finally made it to their destination the next day, like around 3:30. But
yeah, everybody had to say their statements. Everybody had to
you're never going to be the same ever fucking again.
And then it's like a train wreck. Like you try to look away, but you can't. Like this guy,
I'm sure people were there like, this is not real. This is not real.
This is not real.
Like
I'm telling you, it's Michael Myers shit. Like I'm not even lying.
Bitch. I wouldn't even. Michael Myers looks better. Like
I'm just saying, like this is like Michael Myers shit. Meaning this is someone that is in there chopping people's fucking eyes out and like organs, and then lo está tendiendo como si fuera ropa.
But at least, like But the thing is, Michael Myers is a boogeyman or whatever. Yeah. This person was just a person that got on the bus.
Not only that, but was on the bus with you for a
couple of hours at least.
At least a couple of hours. Like you were like, oh, okay, cool. Somebody, maybe he got a ticket. You never know what you're thinking. Because I've been on the Greyhound bus before.
And saying, and he was fine cuando se subió and sat at the front.
He was fine.
He was fine. But you don't know.
Ay, no puede ser.
That obviously that night.
So does he? I know that you're probably going to tell me no, and this is going to piss me off because I'm pretty sure he's going to say like, I don't know why I did that. But does he
say why he did it?
No, not say why he did it, but did he at least say I blacked out? I didn't know.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Now, obviously,
he better fucking tell me. This motherfucker better tell me
the story. Obviously, that whole night, the story was all over the radio, all over the news, but they had never released the name of the person that had been killed by Vince or murdered. So Carol, la mamá de Tim, had heard about it the next day. She knew about it.
She was probably like, wow, can you believe that happened? Yeah.
And she wouldn't actually be informed by her ex-husband, like around 7:30 that evening, that it was actually Tim who had been killed on bus 1170.
Wow.
And actually Tim Sr., he had been informed by Tim's friends that showed up at his door. He had gone to the grocery store to pick up food because Tim was supposed to make it home for dinner. And
yes.
Y cuando llegó el señor de comprar comida or buy food to make food, his friends were there. They told him that Tim wasn't going to make it to dinner. So they actually, el señor tenía a computer, and they sat him down in front of his computer and they pulled up the story and showed him the story. Because how do you utter those words to somebody? I'm like, I can't even tell you, but I can fucking show you.
I can't believe it. You imagine like just hearing the fact that someone destroyed your baby for no reason. And then not only that, but took his head off. And now what are you going to give me? Nothing? Pieces?
A week after Tim's murder, Vince was transferred to a psychiatric ward of of the Health Science Center in Winnipeg and was charged with murder. His initial assessment was completed by the chief forensic psychiatrist, Stanley Yaren.
At what time do they kill this motherfucker is what I want to know.
They don't. In his interviews with Dr. Yaren, Vince told him that he was the evil son of God.
Oh, my
and
God.
That God chose him as the killer and Tim as a victim. And then when he asked why, he said that he didn't know.
That really helped.
According to Dr. Yaren, as Vince was being treated, obviously they give you they put you on different medications and try to
tranquilize him and kind of understand, and maybe even find out why he did it.
Yeah. He said that as, pasaron los días, and he came out of his psychotic episode, Vince understood that he had taken Tim's life. I mean, he understood that he could be found criminally responsible for killing Tim. And Dr. Yaren también goes on to say that in the earlier assessments, Vince would ask Dr. Yaren if they were going to be able to plan his execution. Because he knew, he was like, for what I did, I'm going to get killed. They're going to kill me. He was like, and that's fine. But that Vince actually got upset when Dr. Yaren told him that Canada doesn't carry the death penalty.
He wanted to die.
Yeah.
It was easier for him. It's a way out. You don't have to live with the demons that he had, probably, right?
So for obviously an extended period of time, I think 19 visits that Dr. Yaren had with Vince.
Is that the book that you were telling us about at the beginning?
No, not him, not Dr. Yaren, but it has his information in there. So Dr. Yaren made his assessment after 19 visits, and along with another psychiatrist, Jonathan Rutenberg, they both concluded that Vince was suffering from, quote, effect of severe mental disorder that affected his ability to appreciate the nature and quality of his action and to know what he was doing wrong at the moment. Right? I guess we can assume, because how do you...
I can assume, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And based on those assessments, it was actually unanimously agreed on by the judge, defense, and prosecutors, along with other law enforcement, that Vince Lee was not sound of mind at the time of the crime, obviously, and was not found criminally responsible on account of mental disorder.
Wow.
Now, they all agreed upon that, but without hearing out Tim's family, without hearing out the passengers on the bus.
They just took it based on what they heard from
the psychiatrist. Yeah, and that's it. They didn't get to say their piece.
Wow.
Nothing.
So they were like, oh, he's
not okay mentally, and that's it.
So that's it. You leave him alone and we're just going to put him in jail.
No.
No?
He was actually sent to Selkirk Mental Health Center for treatment for an indefinite amount of time.
No.
Because they rehabilitate, right? I feel like here they just stick you in a mental facility and they medicine you up, y ahí te dejan, right?
No, they hope you die.
Yeah, so they don't have to
deal with you or pay taxes.
Now, once a year, Vince's condition was going to be reviewed along with his detention. So while he was being treated at the health center, at some point they even helped him change his name to Will Baker.
Not Will Baker. Not Will Baker. Out of everything, Will Baker.
Will Baker.
Oh.
Over time, and as his medications were adjusted, he started getting a little bit of freedom here and there.
No, ma'am.
So they were testing the waters.
Is this just like tell me this is like a fucking Canada thing. I'm just saying, because I'm pissed. I'm sorry. And I'm pretty sure anybody that's listening right now could agree with me. This is not okay.
So after testing the waters, like I said, a while, it was determined that Vince Lee, now Will Baker. Mind was stable enough that he could possibly be released back into society. Wow. And he began supervised release in June 2010, which was almost 2 years after Tim had been brutally murdered, first of all.
I can't get over this.
And he was able to go out in public with somebody there with him.
So they didn't even try to be like, hey, you're going to go to jail and you're going to rot for the rest of your fucking life. You're just going to, oh, it's okay, sir. You just ate somebody's eyeballs. This dude, literally brutally.
But that's what you think, where do you draw the line with mental illness? Where do you be like, okay, this is too much. This is beyond mental illness. And you're never going to be able to be okay or be
be
related.
Well, I mean, I get where you're coming from.
No, but where do you draw that line? Let's say you just go out and stab somebody. And then you're like, okay, you were having an episode, but you did it, right? Let's say. And then they're like, but we're going to rehabilitate you. If he wouldn't have cut Tim's head off and wouldn't have done everything else.
Honestly, I think that I would draw the line wherever he started opening his body and started displaying his organs. I'm sorry. Probably right there. Okay, so
you're not good. You're never going to be okay.
You're never going to be okay. That's my deal. I get it.
But I feel like we say that we're not psychiatrists.
I'm not a psychiatrist.
That's what I'm saying.
And thank God I'm not, because I don't want to, that's too much responsibility. But what I'm saying is, as a person, then I'm trying to see it as in the way of this poor Tim was.
Right. He wasn't doing anything. He was trying to get home.
He was going to see his dad.
And move
on the way for dinner. He was going to start a new life. That is chapter. Where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And as a person that if I know, even if this Baker fucker man, if he's out on the street and I'm Tim's mom, and I fucking see him, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cuss that much. It just makes me so upset. The fact that I'm a mom, so I know what would I want to do? How is that okay?
It's not.
And that's what I'm saying. Yes, you're right. It's a fine line between mental health and helping people and all. I get that. But we're talking about somebody that not only he brutally stabbed him, cut his head off, took out his organs, displayed the organs, walked around with his head, ate his eyes, had his bags
of his organs.
Why the fuck do you even have Ziploc bags in your fucking bag on the bus?
Did you plan it?
Not only that, but then on top of that, try stabbing people that are trying. Okay, that were trying to make him stop stabbing. Then on top of that, try to turn on the bus and leave.
Mm-hmm. And then thought that he was going to get away by breaking a window and going out the back of the
as a mother of children, that I can just imagine how his parents feel to sit there and know that someone just displayed your son's insides. His organs.
It's not even that he killed your son. It's just that
was just unnecessary.
No, dude, it's beyond. You can't.
And so then that's where I feel like you draw the line of mental illness. Yes, I am so okay with people getting rehab and people, being a better person. I get that. But this dude had already been in the hospital for this. He had given an opportunity to get medication and he did not take his medication, and then now you're telling me that, he killed this person, did all of this. Oh, I understand. It's because you were not well. Let's go ahead and put you in jail, but you have a chance to leave.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
yes,
no, I get it. I get it.
Agree with the whole, like I said, and I'm probably
it's like a case by case basis, right?
Yes,
like,
but this dude
different.
literally took this poor, sweet, innocent guy
apart.
He was 22. Well, how 22 years old? 22 years old, starting his life, and for no reason.
Yeah,
no reason. Just because
even if there was a reason there, but there's no reason.
He just sat next to him,
bitch. That's why I always have like my resting bitch face because I'm not fucking smiling at nobody. Eye contact.
And I'm pretty sure that Tim was probably like, oh, he's sitting here. It's not, he can sit there, whatever. He was so okay with meeting new people. He was okay with it. He didn't think that something like that was going to happen, like out of nowhere. But
Nobody did. Like, you don't expect that kind of shit to happen.
But my deal is the point that you are taking his body apart and like, tendiendo la pinche, like his kidneys and shit. Yeah. That's not okay. And
I don't know if it's kidneys, but just
you know what I mean. I'm just saying, like his organs. You said he took out his heart and he took out some of intestines. Like, how is that? Like, and then it's okay. You weren't taking your medicine, but let's give it to you now and hope that when you leave the hospital, you continue to take it. So you're gonna risk that and put that person back in society?
Now, in 2012. He was actually allowed to, so this was 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
4 years. Mm-hmm. So there were, obviously, I'm making it super simple. Obviously, there was more things that went into him being released. Other people saw him. There wasn't just Dr. Yaren and, that he was seen by other people. The guy that was talking about him in the book and all that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In 2012, he was allowed to leave the hospital unsupervised for small periods of time. And in 2015, he was actually put in a halfway house. And where his meds were controlled all the time, and he was able to come and go as he pleased. Mm. On February 10, 2017, Vince Lee, now Will Baker, was considered stable enough to function independently and take his own meds in 2017. Now, in 2018, Chris Somerville, who at the time, I don't know if he was or is the chief executive of the Schizophrenia Society of Canada, he went on to say that society had nothing to worry about because he was at low risk of offending or reoffending. According to him, people in Vince's situation were under a 7% chance of relapse. And he also said, quote, so the fact that he's not been in the news is positive. And that's actually true of 99% people who were found not criminally responsible because of mental disorder and absolutely discharged. Carol, la mom, the Tim.
So where does Tim fall? Like,
did not agree. Obviously,
like, how is that okay with his words that he's saying? Where does Tim matter as a person?
Right. That's what his mom says. He was like, yeah, he wasn't well. We know that. He got help. Good for him. But Tim's dead now. And what if he chooses, like you said, not to take his medication? Then what?
I mean, I feel like the least they could have done is put him in jail for the murder.
Now, like right after Tim's murder or soon after, Carol actually tried to propose a new bill called Tim's Law, which would push for legislation to keep individuals found not criminally responsible in custody. But after 5 years, like, she wasn't able to like garnish enough signatures. So she had to let it go. And actually in 2011, a couple of the passengers on Greyhound bus 1170 sued the company and sued the RMCP and the Canadian government.
I would have too.
But they dropped it because to sue the government is really fucking complicated or something like that. Against Greyhound, they actually stated that they didn't provide enough adequate security in, the fact that Vince got on the bus and, or whatever happened, it left him with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. And they wanted compensation of $3 million for witnessing the heinous crime that took place on July 30th, 2008. But the lawsuit was actually later dropped against Greyhound because Greyhound stated that they cannot be sued under Manitoba's system of no-fault vehicle insurance. So I guess they were covered for that.
Yeah, they probably had insurance. Let me go ahead and get an insurance so that alguien que se suba a mi camión y stab somebody is going to be able to I don't have to pay anybody any money because
it's all about the money.
It's all about the
now,
I have insurance.
Tim McLean Sr. also sued Greyhound, Vince Lee, and the Canadian government. And in April 2012, again, it was dropped against the Canadian government for whatever reason. But I think the one for Vince Lee and the Greyhound actually held up. I couldn't find anything that actually said how those ended up playing out. Obviously, a lot of the lives that were on that fucking bus, dude, those people are forever scarred.
Fucked.
In 2011, Steven Allison, the guy that was ran down the fucking aisle or whatever, he said that at that time, he was very friendly, very outgoing. He loved going out. He was a great student. And after that happened, he said that he just kind of retreated into himself. He wouldn't go to classes. He barely went out. Yeah. He was you just don't know who you're going to talk to, who you're going to say hi to.
Because he literally said, what's up to this dude.
Not even. Oh, Tim did.
Tim.
Not even.
I'm just saying, si sube alguien and you're just kind of hey, what's up?
A nod. You could just smile at somebody
literally,
and they
hey,
take
what's
it.
up? Whatever. You put on your headphones and now you can't even
fucking make eye contact with anybody.
This is ridiculous. This is some bullshit.
Kaylee, her name is Kaylee Shaw. She's actually one of the couple of passengers that sued. She was sitting in the middle of the bus and she saw when that guy was running down the aisle. She stated that she had consistent flashbacks and just nightmares of Vince Lee, and that she's the only thing I dream about was him holding his head.
Oh my God.
Now, Chris Alguire, which is the guy the truck driver,
con el knife.
He stated that he hadn't been able to go back to his work and his old life. He says that he always just had the feeling of looking over his shoulder. He's
scared.
I couldn't be in groups of large people anymore.
¿Te imaginas you're all the time escondiéndote or worried that somebody's going to come with a knife and just stab you for no reason?
And then he said he became an alcoholic. Yeah.
Oh my God. I believe it.
And también the bus driver, I couldn't find a lot, but he said that he was not a bus driver anymore.
Fuck that. I wouldn't be a bus driver either.
Now, obviously, those was just some of the ones that I could find on, but I'm sure poor fucking kids that were on the bus. Not the imagine the adults, the kids.
Oh my God.
And I'm sure they're probably going to suffer from this or for the rest of their lives. I hope you get all the therapy that you need or something. I guess something good that came out. No, I guess I wanted to leave this episode on a good note. There it's one. Because on December 21st, 2008, so 5 months after Tim had been murdered, his son was born.
Oh,
yeah. For a while, Carol, I don't know what the situation was, but Carol, la mom, su abuelita del niño, had been trying to gain custody from his mom. And I'm not sure
for some reason
what the details are, but Tim's son had been living with Carol since January 2015, and she was actually awarded his guardianship in February 2016.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm sure if he was born in 2008, so he's going to be 15 this year.
Wow. That is amazing.
And that's the case of Tim McLean.
That is some crazy shit. I'm sorry. I feel like this one was really controversial.
I'm pretty sure, I could have sworn you've heard about this before.
No, bitch. I haven't heard about nobody eating their fucking eyes. I've heard some shit, pero maybe because I'm really bad about, I have
or maybe you forget. You hear about it.
I listen to so, we literally, Estella and I listen to so much because I am and Estella are always listening. But let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I am lit right now. I'm so upset because I said.
You're I need a nap.
No, I just feel so then Tim's life didn't matter. He was just a piece of nothing.
Yeah, he got help. Vince got his whatever the fuck he's doing now. Quien sabe? I don't know where he's at.
What's his name?
Baker,
whatever.
Yeah.
So now he can just move on and have his own children and and that's something that Tim is never going to do.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I know this one is kind of a little gruesome, but you're right. You needed to say this so that you can get upset like me, because I'm still upset. I just don't get it. But anyways, let us know what you think. If you would like to go into detail or let us know what you think, send us an email. We would love to hear from you guys. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. Also, if you guys would download our episodes and leave us a review, we'd really, really appreciate it on Apple, Spotify. You can listen to us anywhere that you listen to podcasts.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye.